No, I didn't notice. Actually, did you find bottled water? Can you grab me one too? I don't.
Check 1, 2.
It's never good to come on after the flop.
So my first question to you is, how do you respond to the new nickname, the Great?
I haven't heard that nickname, but thank you. I usually get Ivan the Terrible.
How much cooperation did you have from the NFL in making this very fine film?
Oh, thank you. We were very lucky. They liked the script. Really, right from the beginning, they responded. Our work with them really had to do with accuracy, making sure that we didn't push the envelope in any way. And we went through various departments at the NFL, and I don't think the movie could have been made. It was really a factor even in the green light of the movie that they were going to be involved. And you know, it took a lot of time because they have a lot of promotion partners. They had to vet it for accuracy, as I was saying earlier. You know, but they went with it, and they were very, very helpful. They were.
And you picked the teams, or they picked teams like the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, we picked a team in the sort of contemporary golden age of Hollywood, which was probably the 80s, and where we were directors and creative people were well compensated, and we were well compensated because really the home video market expanded the sort of income for the studios, so they were being relatively generous, and it seemed to be easier to get movies made. And I was very lucky because I had this wonderful run at the beginning of my career, really starting with Animal House. I had about 10 or 11 really big time hits in a row, and so it was nice.
Ivan? Ivan, this is for Robin Leach, Vegas Deluxe. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
Would you film in Nevada as our film commission widens tax incentives for the studios?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Nevada is really an extraordinary state because its topography is so interesting, frankly, and this town itself, Las Vegas, is just unlike anything else in the world. My good friend Todd Phillips, did the three Hangover. I mean, at least started the Hangover movies here. We were going to produce the Hangover movie with him, and because of a technicality at the studio, we were not able to do it. It was unfortunate because it was such a big hit. But I thought I could see from him and speaking to him that the city was very, very generous in terms of accessibility and and I think it really made a big difference in that film. It really felt real.
Thank you.
As a producer now, how's it feel to be finished with Gollum forever?
Oh my God, I don't know if I am finished with Gollum forever. I don't know if he'll ever go away, quite frankly. It is kind of weird because there was always the possibility of him coming back, and before The Hobbit. But I think I'm happy to have left him in a good place, which is buried underneath the misty mountains.
I know you've been assisting on Peter Jackson's on the directing part. Do you think you are ready to make the next move and become a director for Unicorn?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was very fortunate. Peter knew that I wanted to direct for a long time and gave me some great opportunities. And I was the second unit director on The Hobbit, and we shot for 200 days, which is an enormous amount of shooting days. When you think that the average independent filmmaker would get to shoot their first movie and shoot maybe for 35 days, I think I probably shot the equivalent of 5 or 6 independent movies in that time. So it was a real challenge on a huge scale. So I actually feel ready to take on anything, and in fact, as you may well know, I'm going to be helming Warner Brothers' version of Jungle Book. So that's really exciting.
Icon Award.
All right, Kevin.
Hey Kevin, what is up with you and sports movies?
I like that kind of college mentality of the interview. What's up with you? And what's up?
What's
I
up?
don't know, you know, I never intended to make a sports movie in the beginning, although I love sports and played them since I was little, you know, till the streetlights came on. That's how I knew I had to go home. And it was baseball, it was basketball, and it was football. So and that cycle never stopped for me. So I have a genuine love of sports, but I love movies even more in the sense that I don't want to make a sports movie unless I think it can become a classic. That doesn't mean it does, but it means I won't start it unless I think it actually has that chance. And I felt that way about Bull Durham, I felt that way about Tin Cup, I felt that way about, you know, Love of the Game and Field of Dreams. And when I read Draft Day, I thought it could very easily take its place among those movies. You know, and the best sports movies are obviously not about sports. They're about girls and boys who do get along and sometimes don't get along and have just a strong desire to be together. And sometimes don't have the words to figure out how to do that.
What does this award mean to you?
I don't know, you know, you start off and you just want to work. That may sound very humble, but it's the truth. You know, when I decided I was going to be an actor, no one gave me a chance. I certainly didn't know how to explain to anybody how it would work. I didn't even know how it worked. I used to drive my truck in every day to La Brea and Sunset, and that's when Ships was still there. And I would park my car right by a phone booth, and I would just go to sleep in my truck, a little Datsun truck, because I didn't know what else to do. I knew I needed to come into Hollywood every day. I just didn't know where to go. I would kind of curl up in kind of a fetal position. I would just kind of sleep. I was just trying to dream how to get started. And I stayed next to the phone booth because we didn't have cell phones back then. I thought, you know, I'd get the drama log. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew what I wanted to do. And so to think that I'm kind of, you know,
An icon.
attached to that four-letter word is kind of interesting. But I know how it happened. It happened as a result of great scripts. And my wife thinks I'm charming. My kids kind of do too. But you can't do that for 2 hours on film. You have to be armed with something that moves people in the dark.
You've worked with some incredible directors. What is
The CinemaCon male star of tomorrow, Chadwick Boseman.
James Brown.
Oh, he played Jackie Robinson.
Yes, yes.
How you doing? This is a surprise.
So,
Go ahead.
how's it feel to take on James Brown?
I'll start with you first. That was you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a brain
How does
fart.
it feel to take on James Brown?
I was excited about it. It was the funniest thing I've ever done, to be honest with you, because you're performing. You're a rock star, so it just feels like that. Some people were like, I never got to see James Brown perform, and this is my James Brown concert, like the extras that would come to the show. So just being able to do that is an amazing experience.
Can we get one?
Our CinemaCon female star of tomorrow, Shailene Woodley. What's cracking? What's going on?
Shailene,
Hey.
what was the best part about working with Ashley Judd? Your all's character in real life are both strong women. And
She looks like Jennifer Lawrence a little bit.
How was it having her as your role model for your mother and the version?
Oh man, it was so nice. I had never met Ashley before filming, and we really just connected on a personal level. We're both very sort of kindred spirits and whatnot, and it was nice to have Ashley and Kate as well. Two very strong, empowered women who really just loved where trying to see who I'm talking to.
Right here.
Who really love the art of acting and love being on a movie set. And I know that sounds maybe weird to say, but sometimes that's not always the case, I find, with people. And so working with Ashley was, especially having an emotional scene with her, a really emotional scene with her, it was so nice because I felt this natural sort of organic sense of comfortability. Performer of the Year, Chris Pratt.
Hello. Wow, this brings back memories doing really terrible comedy clubs. Doing, buddy.
Chris.
Yes.
Working on Guardians. It's the first Marvel property that really a vast majority of mainstream America doesn't know about. Do you feel any pressure to kind of, meet the standard set by Robert Downey Jr., Samuel Jackson, some of the other larger Marvel films that are more well known?
Yep. No, I don't know. Not really. This is something Kevin Feige said, who's like the head of Marvel, is that like, looking back, now Iron Man is such a huge property and everybody knows Iron Man, but before the movie came out, it kind of was a similar question, like why Iron Man, why would people bring this up? Now granted, Guardians of the Galaxy is like a slightly lesser known property than that was, but I don't feel like the pressure's on me as much as it is just on Marvel, and I feel safe knowing that they know what they're doing. They hired a great director, it was a really good script. We had a hell of a time doing it, and from the stuff that I've seen, I think it's going to be really good. So, luckily Marvel's a big enough studio to be able to get people excited about it before it comes out. I mean, Marvel itself seems to have a big enough reach.
Right now we have the CinemaCon comedy filmmakers of the year, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg.
All right, Seth.
Hi, guys. Hey.
What's up?
What do we do? Do we dance?
Yes,
Actually, where did you learn all your dance moves?
Where did I learn my dance moves?
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. Well,
Good dance teacher.
it's every time I do a movie, I have to come up with a new, ridiculous, stupid dance. So it's getting hard. I'm running out of them. But
So where did the idea for the interview come from?
the interview,
You just came to work one day and said, why don't interviewers just kill dictators when they interview?
To me, it was one of those like hypothetical conversations that I feel like is kind of out there in the ether, where it's like, people interviewed Osama bin Laden. Well, how come someone didn't just shoot him while they interviewed him, and it would have saved everyone a lot of trouble? So that's kind of where the idea started. Is like, what if a journalist was approached to kill Kim Jong-un just because he was in the news so much? And then we thought, like, what's the most likely type of journalist to actually get in there? And a ridiculous entertainment journalist was kind of what we landed on. So yeah, that's kind of where the idea.
If Kim Jong-un actually invited you to North Korea to screen the movie, would you go?
No.
This is for Robin Leach, VegasDeluxe.com.
Huh?
This is for Robin Leach. Do you love Las Vegas, and what do you do when you're here?
Yes, and gamble.
Yes, and gamble and drink.
When
did you know you were funny?
Inspiration for the entertainment interviewer, so to speak.
Who's the biggest inspiration for the entertainment interview in the movie? It's kind of like Ryan Seacrest-ish, and we just talked to Billy Bush out there. There's maybe like a sprinkling of that in there. But Franco really made the character, that's kind of where it started on paper, but Franco really made the character something that is much kind of more, specific than those guys.
All right, last question.
What's your dream cast for Preacher?
Oh man, that's a good question.
It's too big. We talk about Franco a lot.
Yeah.
Love that Franco.
We do love that Franco, and he's a handsome devil. So. Anything else?
Yeah, with the Vogue cover and the Kanye West video, whose idea is when you guys get together, you guys, James Franco call you? What happens? You guys just get together and go, we need to spoof this.
The video I had we shot that while we were filming the interview. The video just came out, and we literally we filmed it the next day after the video came out because we were just so kind of enamored by it. The Vogue cover, I think Franco just did that, and then I just saw it. He didn't even talk to me about it. I just saw it and thought it was funny, so I perpetuated it.
All right. That's all we
Thank
have
you.
time for. Sorry.
Thank you.
That's all we have time
Penis
for.
was too much. Did you ever say?
No penis is too much.
Exactly. No penis is too much. Good night.